Well, good afternoon. I'm David, co-founder, CEO of Booqed. Booqed is a marketplace for commercial space. Basically, we're seeking to disrupt the way basically people rent commercial spaces. Why? Well, commercial real estate's pretty massive. It's a $10 billion a year industry just in Hong Kong alone. It hasn't changed in the past 25 years. And there's a lot of pain points. For example, who likes agents, real estate agents? Anybody? Well, if you want to rent an office here in Hong Kong, you need to work with the real estate agent, right? It's a painful, expensive, and time-consuming process. Not only that, they're going to try to lock you into a long-term lease. Now, considering that the way businesses and people work is changing, that's ridiculous. Gig economy, right? Fewer people need fixed offices. Companies are telling us that they want flexible space arrangements. So what does that mean? Collier's report showed that 30% of what would we call it? Commercial office inventory would be converted to flexible real estate within the next, by 2030. Now, we're a long ways from that today, right? Just try to reserve a short-term office. For example, a office for 20 people for 2 months, or a pop-up store for 2 weeks. It's really, really difficult, right? Even with the rise of co-working spaces. So our solution, peer-to-peer marketplace, which connects users looking for space with space owners who have unused or vacant space that they can utilize. How does it work? Go onto our mobile app, you find a space that meets your needs. Our system takes care of the rest. We even have a concierge service to help you through the process for more expensive things like event venues. Of course, there's a lot more to it than that. We've got a dynamic booking platform which updates real time. We have a web interface for hosts to manage their listings. As well, we've got a secure payment platform. So somebody making a booking, they pay us. We take a 15% commission, and then the rest goes to the host partner within 14 days. We started towards the end of last year just here in Hong Kong. We're now in 8 cities around Asia. We have 300 listings. This is a bit out of date, unfortunately. But what's most important, what's exciting to us, is that we're seeing a lot of corporate demand. For example, right after we listed, we were approached by a large hedge fund. They're running out of meeting rooms in their offices. They came to us. They're now using us for all of their flexible meeting rooms. Then a fashion brand came to us. They were looking for short-term, basically pop-up stores. They're using us for their pop-up stores. Then we got approached by a very large international sporting goods brand. They are using us for everything from, event space, training rooms, short-term offices. Most recently, they booked a 40-person standalone office for 5 weeks. So what's happened is that we're seeing a huge growth in revenues. We're doing about $40,000 a month, and that's on a total marketing spend of maybe $2,500. Lots of word of mouth. This is the team. A bunch of passionate entrepreneurs. Basically, between us, we've got 3 successful exits. We have 2 patents. We've got a number of marketing awards. As a business, we're part of the Cyberport program. We've been accepted into TechCrunch. We were one of the finalists for Best Business App in the Asian Mobile Awards. So that's us. I'm David. We're Booqed. We're trying to change the way people use space anywhere, anyhow, whenever. Thank you.
Great work, David. We'll kick the questions off with Anna.
Can you talk about your utilization rate right now, and also sort of the value proposition compared to co-working spaces in these various cities?
Yeah. So basically what we're seeing, so utilization is a bit hard because we've just started. We've got a huge number of spaces. What we're seeing is actually a trend towards longer term and higher volume bookings from our corporates. Value proposition is very different from these co-working spaces. In fact, a lot of these are our partners. So of our inventory today, probably about 40 to 50% are actually co-working spaces, business centers, service offices. Why? Well, they're looking for marketing channels. I would say the main difference is that we provide a range of spaces. We're space agnostic. agnostic. So somebody wanting to use our hedge fund customer, they did a big event in a restaurant, right? Not your traditional meeting rooms. So we provide a bit more flexibility, a bit wider range of spaces than your typical traditional co-working.
Okay.
Jisho?
How would you describe your long-term competitive, core competence or competitive edge, if you will, relative to competition? And I'm sure if it becomes lucrative, there'll be lots of people trying to do the same thing. And
absolutely.
So how should we think about that? Is it scale, network effect, or is that something in your service that differentiates you?
All of the above.
Okay.
So look, we hear a lot about how people are entering the space, right? Competitors are coming in. Then we talk to customers, and they talk our ear off about how they cannot find spaces, right? So what it tells us is that clearly there's a need that's not being met. What I would say our differentiation, a couple of things. All of what you said, execution, scale, network effects. The main difference, I think, at this point is that we are focused more on the demand side as opposed to the supply side. So you get a lot of listings. They come out and they say, oh, yeah, if I get a billion spaces, it's going to work. People are going to come. It doesn't work that way. For our corporates, they have specific space needs, when, where, very, very specific things. We talk to them, and then we try to connect them with the right space. So for us, I think that's what we're really working on right now.
Bradley?
So first of all, I think it's a great idea that will eventually happen. My concern is that while it's very early going, it sounds like on the supply side you've got sort of 300 divided across 8 cities, and on the
most of them are here in Hong Kong. Actually, half of them are here in Hong Kong.
And on the demand side, you've consummated 1,500. Customers.
So no, actually the main demand's coming from, so we do have the downloads, people installing it, they're using it. It's about a 5% conversion at the moment. The major demand actually has come from corporates. So we're seeing a lot of transactions from corporates.
So my question is sort of, until you get enough supply, I mean, these marketplaces are hard to build, and until you're the place to go for this, how do you sort of ratchet up and actually become the marketplace, which is the go-to marketplace for both sides of the marketplace?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So for us, actually, that was one of our big concerns starting. It's like, how are we going to get the supply? When we start up in a new city, we basically just blitz it. We go and we meet with like 30, 40, 50, usually co-working spaces to start because there's a consistency of experience. But once we get sort of a certain level, then it actually gets viral. Right? We're getting a 90% conversion rate for everybody we talk to because it's kind of a no-brainer. You own space, why not do this, right? There's nothing, nothing to lose. We now get inquiries basically without doing any marketing. We obviously want to push that a little bit more. So one of the things, we're doing some fundraising. We want to push that some more to build that up. But actually, the space availability has not been a problem for us. We do want to build that up more, though. Good point.
Okay, David, we'll leave it there. Massive round of applause for our pitch finalist number 2. David
Thank you, everybody. Thanks very much.